I couldn't see really what was happening among the younger generations in their relationship to Christ. And I was concerned, as the older ones go off the scene, what will be left? And then in April this past year, my wife and I went down to the Azusa Now revival in Los Angeles, where 65,000 people gathered in Jesus' name. And a good portion of them, half of them, were youth. And they were worshiping their brains out for 13 hours in the rain, unafraid, unashamed. They were the ones doing the praying. They were the ones laying hands on the sick, and people were getting healed down there. It was an amazing time. And then the second most exciting thing is to come here tonight and see these youth excited about the Lord. Well, I think we get that good because He has done it. The gospel goes forth because God is at work. And yes, there are individual leaders, youth pastors, and so forth at work, but it's God that's doing it through them and touching lives and waking people up to the wonderful good news of great joy that's in Jesus Christ. Our job as the older generation, it says in Psalm 145, verse 4, one generation shall praise your works to the next. And I remember 2 teenagers sitting at my table in my house a few years ago. And they were just not very committed to Christ. And it was because God wasn't real to them, even though they're in a Christian family. So I started to tell them the works that I'd seen God do in my life. My daughter, who had developed severe food allergies and couldn't enjoy a meal without getting a terrible stomach ache. One Sunday comes and says, "Daddy, please pray for me. I want to be able to eat again." So she had great faith. I had little faith. But I laid hands on her and prayed for her, and she went right to the potluck and ate everything, while her mom screamed at her, "Don't do that, you'll get a stomach ache." And she said, "Dad prayed for me, and I'm healed, and I'm going to eat." She was healed. She never had another stomach ache from food her entire life. It's just disgusting. She could even eat beans and not get gas. That's a miracle. My son broke his ankle playing baseball. And it was tournament time, and he was the catcher. So this was serious. And he wanted prayer. So we prayed. 5 minutes later, I heard him running up and down the stairs from the main floor of the bedrooms upstairs. And he's yelling at me, "Dad, look at this, look at this." And his ankle was healed, and that was verified by a doctor 2 years later. I'm telling these kids at my table these stories and many, many, many more that we've seen of God healing bodies, healing souls, what He did in my life, and it woke their face up. God's at work. And older generation, that's our job. What have we seen God do? Tell the younger generation those stories. Now, Andrew represents for us today the younger generation. I've been carrying this for 49 years. I started when I was 21, teaching the Word. And it's time for me to pass it on. Now, I'm not quitting. I think I've still got another 15 years ahead of me. But we're recognizing tonight that it's time for a younger generation to take up the gospel of Jesus Christ and to be faithful. Amen? Let's stand up and just honor these young people.
That's awesome. What I think is so cool about this light is that a lamp, y'all can sit down. Wait, could you guys stand up really quick, please? That's not even